Hello everyone, welcome to our practice exercise 5. We will learn how to use the functions and user-defined aggregates in this video. And this exercise will allow us to practice in the defining fields based on simple SQL queries, defining SQL functions, pgSQL functions, and also adding the new aggregate operators. So if you want to learn more about how to use the pgSQL functions and the simple functions, you can also check the PostgreSQL menu here. And we will also have the pgSQL language description here. Okay, so let's look at the background about the UI design we will use through this course or through this video. So we will have a taster, beer, brewer, location for the entity. Then we will also have a rates table to represent the many-to-many relationship. So we will have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tables in total, and for each of this table, the table represents the entities. They will have an ID as the primary key. Okay. So if you want to practice in the real database, I suggest that we can create the view like this. So we create a database called BS. It will return nothing. That means we successfully create this BS database. Then we get the schema SQL, that is the schema we have already set in, populate this into our new database, and we will say the table has been created. Then last we will have the data SQL. So that is the data script we have already settled to allow us directly populate in the data. Okay, so now we can say we can have a log of our database. So we'll have the location ID, 14 number of the location. We got 14 number of the location, and we got 10 taster and 14 beer style, 14 brewers, and 25 beers. Okay, then let's check what we have already loaded. So we use this, select the everything, count everything from the rating table. Okay, so here it returns you, we got 32 different records from the ratings table. That is correct. And we can also select the given from the taster, order by given, to return all the given name from the taster. Then order by given will return you in the listing that is sorted by this given, this column. Because we do not include anything at the end, so it means it's ordered by the ascending order. So the default setting is the ascending order, but in case if we want to order by the descending order, we can add it as a DESC. I will show you later. Okay, let's look at the first question. So we want to find out who made what rating. So basically we will create a final view like this. We got the taster's name, the given name of the taster. We got the beer and brewer. The brewer, which is the brewer who provide this beer, and also the rating by this beer, right? Okay, the rating is coming with a taster and the beer's pair. So let's create a new view called all ratings. Then because we have a taster, got a beer, got the brewer, got a rating, so we have 4 different columns. As we will use the taster, we will use the given name from the taster, we will get the beer's name from the beer table, brewer's name from the brewer table, score from the rating table. So we will need to join these 4 tables together. So this is how we join them together. Then finally, because we do not have any filters, so we want to return everything from this whole table, we will only need to order by the given name and the score. So here it requires we get order the table by the taster's name, and for the given taster, if they have the same taster, sort in a descending order of the rating. So that means the given name will be sorted by ascending order, and for each given name, the score will be sorted by the descending order. So D, E, S, C represent the descending. Okay, let's check what the result we have in this. Okay, so say we will have the similar result like this. So Adam told his rating is 4, right? So we got the result. Okay. Then next question, find out what is my favorite beer. So we will work on the answer to this once we have solved the query above, because we will use the all ratings view like we have already defined, right? Then we will now create a new view called John's favorite beer to select the favorite beer by these people. That means we will have the highest score by this taster, right? So the taster equal to John, then let the rating equal to the maximum rating of this taster. Oh, sorry. I forgot to create the view, so it will actually return a result. So that means this is the result we get in the last question. And because we do not include the create the view of the all ratings, so it returns an error that the all ratings does not exist. But now if we add this comment to let the previous question as a view, then it will return us the highest rating of John this taster, and set the brewer is Sierra Nevada and the beer is Pale Ale. Right? Okay. Then question 3, find out anyone's favorite beer. So that means now we want to know everyone's favorite beer. We do not have any specified name for the taster. So for example, we can use it like this. We will create a function called favorite beer, and if we select the June's favorite beer, we just put in a variable, give it the taster name like this, and it will return the favorite beer by this June. And also similarly for the Adam, if we put the taster name as Adam, it will return his favorite brewer and beer. Okay, so that means we will have a variable. Then when we mention about variables, then that means we will use a function. Okay, so let's see how can we create a function. We will create or replace the function because we do not, once the function having already created, we do not want to call arrow. So if it already exists, we want to replace the function called favorite beer and text. This text means the input we given will be a string, right? So it will be a text data type, and what we return is a set of beer info. Okay, so this double quote indicates we begin the function. This means we end the function, and at the end of the function we will indicate what the language we are using. So in this case we use the simple SQL language. So we will select the beer brewer from all ratings table and taster equal to number 1. Number one means this is the first parameter. So because we only have the one parameter, so we will use $1 as a placement of the variables as the the parameters. Okay, if we, for example, if we got two tags here, that means we have two parameters. So if we have two parameters, we can have the $1 here, and we can also use, like, if we want either the tester equal to the first one or the second one, then we can do like this. So this means we have two different tester, two different parameters. Okay, so this is how we represent the parameters in SQL language. Okay, so we just simply put what we have now, then and that is what we have in the previous question. Just copy paste it here and replace the join by this $1 means the first parameter. That should be fine then. Okay, so that is our function. Now we are able to call this function by giving it a name. For example, here, for example, here we give it a name called June. I said the select, this one. Okay, so now it will create the function. Oh, okay, it already still return the previous one because I had comment the create view, so I will delete the comment, then it will not return it anymore. And now, because we have the function, when we call the function, it returns the John's favorite bill like this, and the Adam's bill will return as well. See, so we will have like this. And the builds info have already exist, so we now can comment this one, and because it will not interpret the procedure, so we can also leave it here, should be fine as well. Okay, so that is for number 3. The next question, what is the style? What style is that beer? So we want to create a beer style using the SQL language by given the brewer name and also the beer name as the parameter, and return a text. Okay, so now because here we only return a single tuple, we do not need to create a new type for the return once more, so we only let it return a single text, single string. But if we want to return a set of tuples like this, we have two different columns, then we need to create a type of beer info as first column and second column. Both of them are the text, and this is the column name. Okay, so let's keep continuing question 4. If we have this build style, we will use the build style by giving the brewer's name and build's name. So we can do like this. Let's comment this one to prevent it return the result. Okay, so let's create or replace the function, so we indicate which is a function, and called beer style. And because we have two parameters, so we will give the brewer, which is string, and beer as a string here as well. And then we return a single text, single string. So we want to select this beer's style. So the beer style was saved in the beer style this table. So that means we will use these 3 tables together. So we will have beer, brew, beer styles together, and this is how we join these 3 tables together. So for the condition in this question, we will have the brewer's name equal to the brewer's, the first parameter, and the beer name equal to the second parameter. This lower means we do not want the brewer's name or the beer's name become the case sensitive, so we convert all the name, either the beer name or the brewer's name, into the lowercase first, then we compare it with the brewer, the input parameter. So let's make our function more robust, right? Okay, so if we create a function like this, we are now able to call this function by giving a beer and brewer name. Okay, so we have created a new function. Then if we want to select the beer style for this styling, and which brewer is cotton and united, the beer style is lager. Okay, and if we change it to lowercase, because we have already put the lower to the original data source and also the input style. So whatever we put it here, the uppercase or the lowercase, it will not affect on the final result. So let's try this. It will still can recognize what is it say and return the correct answer. But if we put something it cannot match to the data source, for example, the cotton, there is no brewer's name called Cottons and United, right? Okay, so let's just simply let it be cotton. Then we call the function. It will not return an arrow. It will return nothing. Okay, so that is the unknown name for the result. So the whole tuple will be empty. Okay, next question. Consider the following PostgreSQL SQL function to produce a represent of the taster address. So, for example, if we create our function here like this, that means we want to concat the taster's address together. We want to concat, that means we want the string first and following by a comma and a space, then following by the country. Then we get the taster's name and the location from and the address from the location table. Then the given name, so the given name will become the parameter, and also it's leaving this one is how we join these two tables together. Then if we get this address from for join, then it will not return an arrow because join got its state and country. Both of them have already been saved in the database. But if we select the taster address for Sarah, then it will return nothing, but actually Sarah got its country, just do not got it a state, because that is because our function cannot hold this. Okay, so now we will need to concat them together by preventing this edge case. We want, if the state is known, we return the country only. If the country is known, then we return the state value only. Otherwise, we combine them together. Or if they are both empty, then we return nothing, right? Okay, so we will use something like if then in the SQL database. That is, we call it case when. Okay, so case when. Case means is like the if what we use in Python. And so that means when the case is, this is the condition, if the state is null, then we do this action, we return country. If the country is null, then we return state. Okay, then if not satisfy these two requirements, we will return the state concate after by country. Okay, so that everything else remain the same. So let's have a look here. So now, because the state is null, so it will only return the country value here. So it will return a single England. Okay, that's for question 5. And for question 6, define a function that produces a summary of beer tasting. So we want it return a summary like this. So we will have a beer, a rating, a taster, and we do not it look like a table. We want it like a real report, right? So it will be a listing format. Okay, so we will first define the result format. Here, we create a function called beer display, and beer display will return a beer, which is a text, the rating is a float, the taster is a text, and finally return a text. So the first one will, because the first row is empty, so firstly we will give it an empty, we will directly change a line, get a new line, then following by a beer and with some space, and given the beer name here, and this means concate, and concate, then we change a new line, then the rating following by 1 space, by 2 space here, and because we have the rating, and so now rating we want convert it into a character, we want return it, we want convert it into the into a string with one digital point, one digital digits after the decimal point. So we change it, like give it a sample, and then change the line. The taster, we want to get the substring from the taster, so get the taster, and this means we want to get the length of the taster from the third point to the length of the taster. This is because we later will define the taster, concate all the taster name here together, like put a comma and a space before a name, for example, before John. So we want it start from the third place and to the last character of this string. So that means remove the first comma and space. Okay, then we create the function called build summary to return such information. So now we will have we will use a pgSQL language. So we will use this and declare what we will have as our parameter. So we will have R, which is a record, and we will have out, which is a text. So we initially give it as an empty text, and the current beer, that is represent the current beer. So the current beer means we'll use for calculate the average rating for the rating of this beer. Then the text, which is a string as well, and because the then we set default value equal to empty string. The taster, which is a text, then sum is an integer, and the count is an integer as well. Then let's begin. We do a for loop to loop all the BL and taster pairs. So now for every R in the selected everything from the all ratings ordered by BL and taster, for each of these pairs we loop. If the BL is not equal to the current BL, then we to test if current BL is empty, that means the initial state, then we let the out result concat the BL display by the current BL and with 1 times sum divided by count. This is how we get the average rating of this BL, and then the taster. So we return the taster to the BL display as well. Then and if it is equal to empty, then that means we will let current BL, means which the current BL is the first BL, right? So we let the current BL equal to the first BL and let the sum equal to 0, and that COMP equal to 0. That means we init these 2 flags, then the taster equal to nothing. And if if the RBL is not equal to the current BL, means we go to the next BL. So if we go to the next BL, we can then calculate the average rating for the previous BL, right? So we do not change the current BL, we just get the average rating and the taster. Okay, so if it is the current BL, then we sum up, right? We sum the rating by add the current rating and the count add by 1. Then the taster will add like this. So now we concat the taster's name. This is the original taster. So this is how we save the taster, and this is the current taster. We concat the current taster after it. So say if it is the first taster, because its previously initial state is empty, so we will have a comma and space in front of the first taster's name. So that's why we need to take out the first two position of this string. Okay, so if finish everything, then we end loop, right? Then the output will, because we not return the last BL, so we also need the result to get the last BL. So the last BL, we get it into the output, then we return the final output. So the good point of the pgSQL is that we can use this for loop with these different variables. Okay, so that is how we use the pgSQL function. Okay, then now we can select the BL summary to let it return the final answer. Okay, so now we will have an exact format at what we have here as what we defined in the BL display, this format, right? Okay, so that is for question 6. Then we go to question 7. Define a new aggregate operator to concat a column of string. So now we want to create an aggregate function called concat to concat all the given name for the taster. So we will still use a function. So here we create an aggregate function called concat and given by a text. So the X type is text, and init condition is empty. That is the very first state of this concate. Then the function is append next. The final function is final text. Okay, let's say what we have in append next. Append next, as its name shows, we want append the next value in the previous one. So we create the function called append next. So we give the current state and also the next state, then return a full single character, a full single string. So let's begin the language called pgSQL. Then, because we do not need to include any parameter, any variable in this function, so that means we will not have the declare part for the pgSQL function here. So we will directly begin the function, then we return the current state and concate it with the next line. Okay, so note that we do not have, because we do not have a space here, so when we concate the name together, we do not include a space. And the final function, the final text, then the final text got a similar problem. That is, if the first, we put this as in front of the next name, in the first name will contain a comma as well, so the final text will need to get the substring from the second position to the last position. Okay, so we get the substring of this string and start from the second position to the length of this string. So that is how we create an aggregate function called concate. Okay, now then we are able to use the concate in our select queries. So let's look at question 8. Define a view that produce a summary of the beer tasting. We haven't tested what we have in what we create in the number 7. So let's give it a test. Okay, so if we concate given from the taster now, we will concate every taster's given name here. So we will have this: June, Adam, Jave, Sarah. Every taster's name will be concate together. So if we have add a space here, then we need to change. If we do not change it, we will say a comment, or we will say a space in the first position. Let's have a look. If we start from the first one, then we will also have a comma. Okay, so we will have a comma and a space here. That's why we would like it to start from the second position. Okay, so that's it for question 7. Question 8, we want to test what we defined in the concate function. So we will create the summary beer to include the information about beer, rating, and the taster, like a table format, not like a list format. Right? Okay, so we can directly use what we have already created in our ratings, right? Because in our ratings we have the given name, beer's name, brewer's name, and score. So now we will simply use this all rating view. Okay, so we will create a new view called beer summary. That is the beer and rating and taster. So beer name, keep it same, and rating, now we want to get the average rating. We want to get the average, we want to get the average rating, right? So we now need to convert it into our character with 1 digit after the decimal point. Then the last column, we want to concate all the taster together. So because here we include an aggregate function, here we include aggregate function. This is the one already settled by the by the SQL language, and this is what we just defined. So we will only need to include the beer in our group by. Okay, so that is what we have in the group by. Then let's select what we have now in the final table. So we will now have a table look like this. Give it a beer and rating, and then taste. The taste is all the name concatenated together. Here is actually return the same result as this one, just in different orders. Okay, so that is all for this video, and thank you for watching. Bye.